Now the story goes, you started to learn how to play music and create music while working at a DVD rental store.
Right.
Looking back now, how beneficial was it for you to create and write music in such surroundings?
I think it was completely necessary for the way that I turned out, just in terms of having a space to be loud and time to myself. I was encouraged by my boss there, and it happened to be in a basement, so I could just make all the noise that I wanted till late at night. So I would play like from 11 at night till maybe 5 in the morning most nights.
What was the level of focus like while you were down there?
It was like complete. It was just dead silence, you know, and it felt like it was mostly at a time where people were asleep, where everyone was just asleep, so I felt like I was the only one awake and I could just really hone in on what I was doing. I had no time constraint, I had from 11 to 9 a.m.
Since then, since you've left Maine and now you reside in Brooklyn, New York, what's the transition been like for you, leaving your hometown behind?
I would say it was a pretty natural one. I didn't move to New York until I felt ready, till I felt emotionally ready and musically confident in what I was doing, and I ended up, it worked out well because I had a lot of dear friends throughout my childhood. I lived all over growing up, and a lot of my dear friends all ended up in Brooklyn. So I had a great support group, and so the transition was actually pretty smooth.
Let's talk about the album Rightly Point. It really is, from start to finish, it's a fantastic album.
Thank you.
And you have such a genuine approach to valuable aspects of life. What's it like for you to finally get your album out and getting such a positive response?
It's amazing. I mean, I honestly made the record. It took a year, and throughout the process I didn't have a thought in my mind of how is this going to be received, because to me it was just like I needed to get these songs defined finally. They were older songs, a lot of them, and so it felt like a bonus, like that anyone even liked it, really, because I didn't even have any expectations. I was just like, I just breathed a sigh of relief at the end, like, oh, it's out and I made it the way I wanted to. I'm proud of it, and that's it. I felt like it was complete.
Let's talk about some of the material on the album. The opening song has Here to the Ferris Wheel, has such addictive notes from beginning and the start, and in between, after 2 minutes, you break into an indie rock type of sound. There's also a solo of sorts. Tell us about the construction in basically creating a song like this.
Yeah, well, with a song like that, I knew that I wanted it to be first on the album because I wanted to ease the listener in with just my voice, which is, if they were a fan beforehand, it would be something that they're familiar with, and then pretty quickly be like, wait a second, this is not a solo record, like, here it is, and be really loud, and I just wanted to rip it up from the start and like play solo like really early on, and I was inspired by the Pixies for that one.
Moving on, Mezzanine has a great riff and a head nodding type of feel to it. When you're making a song like this, do you envision what it might sound like live, perhaps?
Yeah, for sure. That song I demoed on the computer first, and basically played all those parts with a keyboard, the strings and horns and stuff like that. And of course, it's much easier to craft a song like that, you know, in recording than it is to get a ton of musicians on time for every beat. Like, it's difficult, but it's something that I envision doing in the future with a huge band behind me, lots of horns and strings.
I wanted to ask you about one of the softer moments on the album, Little Brother. Your voice in this song is so dreamy, you kind of get lost in it. And I wanted to talk to you about some of the words mentioned. You said you'll carry your little brother like a newborn, always lifting him from escape.
Yeah.
What's the thought process with those lyrics?
That was inspired entirely by dreams of, my brother is 6 years younger than me, he's 18, and he's just the sweetest kid. He's just so nice, and I love him and feel protective over him as his older sister, and so I have a lot of stress dreams about him being in trouble, and they're always different, but I'm always like, you know, and like it's like lifting someone in water, like in dreams people are kind of weightless. So I just had so many dreams of saving my brother from peril that I just wrote a song about it.
And of course, is he working now at the DVD store which you used to record and play music? That's an amazing story.
Yeah, it's great.
You worked alongside producer Nadeem Issa for this. What was it like having him on board and helping to get your vision for the album, bringing it to life?
Yeah, it was completely crucial. I owe so much to him because he sacrificed a year of his time to really be on the same page as me entirely with how important this record was. I mean, he cared just as much. and we just finished each other's sentences in terms of what we thought needed to happen, and we both agreed that the keeping the honesty of the album, the integrity of the songs and lyrics and energy was most important.
Your live performances are very captivating. What sort of emotions do you feel when you're playing to different audiences often?
It's always a new experience because sometimes, like for example, I'm playing the first time tonight in London with a drummer that's never happened before, so it's very exciting for me. And sometimes I'm opening and I feel like I have, you know, half an hour to captivate people or get them on board. So it's always exciting because either I'm playing to fans who are singing along or I'm trying to convert new fans into believing it.
Yeah, and having a drummer on board, does that add more depth and give you more freedom on stage?
It certainly makes things more exciting. It makes things more fun. I appreciate collaboration a lot. It's one thing to play alone and feel very spontaneous, and it's another to lock in with another musician. It's a really great thing.
I wanted to ask you about an idea that you had in the music video for The Nothing Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
In the music video, you capture a group of individuals and
yeah.
subject them to eating pie, and in due time they get the upper hand and make you eat a whole lot of pie. What's the concept behind the song?
It actually started as just something silly, like, well, with the fencing costume involved, I just thought fencing was really interesting, and I've always wanted to try it, I never have. I thought it would be a fun thing to, like, wear the costume, then it turned into something a little twisted, but it's meant to be tongue-in-cheek. I mean, these are my friends, and by the end of the video, like, I'm laughing, and it's like, supposed to be, like, more of a celebration than, like, a kidnapping.
And they leave you on the roadside, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You stated that of all places you found it hard to understand Brits. Is that true?
Did I say that? Yeah, it can be. Yeah, I actually have some friends here in London that I ask to repeat themselves constantly. I don't know why.
And also you say being on tour is all about the little pleasures. Have there been any notable little pleasures that you've experienced whilst you've been on your current travels?
I would say honestly just being able to come back and visit. The more I come to London, the more at ease I feel here, and I feel like I can get myself around on my own, and I feel like I know the bus system now, and it's nice to feel so self-reliant so far away.
If you could collaborate with any musician, past or present, who would it be?
It would be either Jeff Mangum from New Chimook Hotel or Sufjan Stevens.
What was the first album you purchased?
It was the first cassette I ever got was the White Album by the Beatles, obviously.
Finally, your 5 desert island records.
Ah, okay. On Avery Island by New Chimook Hotel. Probably like a best of Otis Redding. Mamas and the Papas. Hissing Fauna, Are You the Destroyer by Of Montreal. And East by Joanna Newsom.